have you been in the situation where you have maybe had some counselling or some talking therapy or CBT, and it has helped to a point, but it really feels like there's something deeper going on that it just hasn't quite got to? Well, there's one explanation for that, which is that we are like an iceberg. And our conscious mind, that part of our thinking that we are aware of, so all of those thoughts and the beliefs that we are able to talk about, is like the tip of the iceberg. So we can see it and we can look at it and we can assess it and we can very clearly see maybe, and we can describe that quite easily. But we know that the greatest mass of the iceberg lies under the surface of the water. And this really encapsulates all of the unconscious things about you. So the unconscious thoughts and beliefs that are driving your behaviour that is in a way that you can't explain or you're not consciously aware of. It's, for the most part, for all of us, our bodies are generally in that category as well, as we go through our days not ever really connecting with our physicality, that maybe we have so much hatred and shame surrounding our body that we really don't want to think about it. So that becomes another buried thing under the surface. And then we have this whole concept that we are more than just our physical bodies and brains, that we are also an energy. That we have all had that experience in life where we have walked into a room and you feel like you can cut the tension with a knife because maybe they've just had an argument or something's just happened. Particularly if you think back to when you're a child, children are incredibly perceptive to that energy exchange that goes on, right? We can feel that we are drawn to certain people who hold an energy that feels good to us. So we can understand that this is at play, but again, it generally isn't something that we give too much focus and attention to. So it's another thing that is in the bulk of the iceberg under the surface. So it makes sense that if we are only ever working with the mind, with the conscious mind, with the bit that we can see and talk about and understand from like this, it makes sense that it's only ever going to create very incremental change, because we have the whole, like a massive amount of the iceberg is underneath the surface that is available to us, but we have to dip below the water, right? We have to make that journey from what is seen above the water to what is unseen. And that's really what this wholehearted technique is all about. We begin with the thoughts and the beliefs that you are consciously aware of, but we very quickly drop down into the unconscious. We drop down into that bigger expanse, because once you start to address those things and you start to create shifts on that bigger level, it creates massive shifts in your whole life. So rather than creating tiny little incremental changes at the top of the iceberg, we create huge fundamental shifts working below the surface. And very often people can get very scared, very apprehensive when we start talking about working below the surface and going deeper. And I get that, because for the most part of us, we have forgotten what it feels like to go there. We've lost touch with all of the magic and the creativity and the insight that we gain from working from that place. So that's where having a guide is really helpful, because where you might be sat in a ship on the surface of the water, and you can look at the top of the iceberg and think, well, I'm just going to stay here because at least I can see this. I'm not comfortable, but at least I can see that bit, and if I want to change that, then I can just chip that bit off, and I can you can work with that because you can see it. But you know deep down that in order to create true transformation and change that lasts, that really delivers the type of shifts that you want, you need to go deeper. So what we are here to do is to be your guide in diving below the surface. And because we've done this journey so many times, we can hold you in safety and ensure that you have got all of the equipment, all of the resources you need to make that dive safely. And then we are there with you whilst you explore it. And it holds more treasure, more incredible beauty and insight than you can ever possibly imagine. And it is a beautiful, beautiful experience. So if you are aware that you have done as much mindset work as possible, you've read the books, you've done the personal development, you've done the therapy, and it's worked to a point, but you know that something needs to shift for you on a fundamental level, I invite you to explore a wholehearted technique that will guide you into that deeper place and allow you to create fundamental shifts in your life. It's a really exciting journey. It's one that I would be absolutely honoured in supporting you in. And please do get in touch. We offer free clarity calls to help you decide where you are now, where you want to be, and how we can then work with you to get you to that place and what would be the best option for you. So do get in touch. I very much look forward to speaking with you soon. Bye for now.